Hello folks, I'm going to show you a real quick card today using our watercolor painters, and I'm going to show you the watercolor paper comes this size, and we just cut it in half and you'll end up with watercolor paper of 5 by 3.5, which will go nicely on our paper here, just layered onto Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. So this is going to seem a little odd, but it's a nice technique. Just slosh your water on, wet down your paper here. Use a little blue. I've got a little Tahitian Tide there, but another color works too. See how we let that color just flow. I think we need a little more of that. Let's see. There we go. And then maybe some of the green. And this is just to make our background. Don't worry about being fussy about it, okay? And then on your wet paper, here's where the fun comes in. And take our little green pine needles and stamp them. And it's not going to look pretty at first, so some of you who are used to being real exact are going to be real nervous when I do this. But I promise, in the end, you're going to like it. At least I hope you will. So, and you just, the idea is to just let it bleed. There you go, that's probably enough. And if you wanted to, you didn't think it is bleeding enough, you could even take your smaller brush and kind of smush it around a little bit. Make it look even darker in that corner. You didn't get enough water on this side. The idea with watercolor is you want it to just look kind of translucent and messy. So now we're going to take our pine cone. You can arrange it wherever you want. I'm putting mine there. I actually got a little darker than I wanted it, so I'm going to put a little more water here so that my next one doesn't get quite so dark. And I want it to bleed, so I'm going to pull it out a little bit because I like that effect. So, whoops, let's see what the little pine cone looks like. And they all look different, you know. Make sure you get brown. Soft suede is what I'm using. Look at that one. See how that's bleeding out? And it will change even a little bit as it dries. And then, because for the sake of time, I've got this one that I did earlier. I wanted to let it dry. So now the reason we want a two-step stamp is so that we can go over it with the more detailed pine cone. And hopefully this is dry enough so that it'll make a real dark image. And then we'll do the same with the smaller pine cone. And let's do our words in, I don't know, I like this Evening Evergreen, so we'll do the words in green, see if that fits. You can use any saying that you want. And just have fun with this. You might want to play with it and add a little more. Actually, let's do that. Let's add a little more of the pine needles. Give it that. See how pretty that looks with a faded background? You might want to get a lot of watercolor paper and just have fun doing this. And then we will just layer it onto the Evening Evergreen and onto our Soft Succulent, and there's our card. Thanks for joining me.